What's up, guys? Welcome to Knockers on the Bottom. I'm your host, Jay Mill. Jay Miller, if you like. So, let's get into it. So, I want to start off, first by saying hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're at 55 subscribers. And when we get to 100, we'll give away something else again. And so hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. But to get into what I really want to talk about is first, I want to start off. You see him on the screen, your boy Zack Martin. He officially retired today. So some of the things about Zack Martin that I love is he's always been tough. Even when the Cowboys have had bad teams or he's been hurt or injured, tired, whatever have you, he's usually out there giving it a go. Last couple years, injuries did catch up with him, but for the most part, Zack Martin was a very durable, very outstanding player. He actually has zero holding calls in his entire career whenever he takes a pass set. So whenever Zack Martin has dropped back to pass protect for the team, no matter who the quarterback was, he has zero penalties. He's never gotten an accepted penalty on a pass set, which is crazy. One of the other things that is pretty outstanding, which are just ridiculous stats, by the way, he has more All Pros than accepted holding calls. So just a ridiculous high level player throughout his entire career with the Dallas Cowboys. Honestly, if the Cowboys had another 6 to 7 guys in general total that did their job as well as Zack Martin did his job over the course of the time that he was here, Cowboys probably wouldn't be 30 years without a Super Bowl. But I'm not here to rehash that old stuff. I'm here more to say, we salute you, Zack Martin. We love you. Awesome job throughout your career. Sucks that you couldn't get a ring with us, and it sucks that your body let you down because I feel like the way he was playing and at the level he was playing, if his body didn't let him down, he'd probably still be here for another 3 or 4 years playing at a very high level. So, salute to Zack Martin retiring today, but also another bad day for Cowboys, right? We lost Tyron Smith last year, and he was a shell of himself, so the Cowboys made the right decision. And then Zack Martin retires this year. We also had Travis Frederick retire years ago. So you got the Cowboys, that trio that they had when they had that dominant offensive line. That entire trio is gone. Hopefully, people like Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe can be a new dominant trio and kind of help forge the road forward for the Dallas Cowboys. But Zack Martin, love you. You know what I'm saying? And sad to see you go, but glad to see you get on to the next phase of your life and wish you luck in that entire journey. So the other part I wanted to talk about a little bit today is got to hear all the coaches and see all the coaches speak a little bit, and it just kind of reinforces some of the thoughts I had about the way Brian Schottenheimer went about hiring his staff. The Dallas Cowboys traditionally have been a team that has been very lazy in their coaching hires, and I thought that's the route they were going because they were lazy in the search for their head coach, which is Brian Schottenheimer. But now with the hiring of his assistant coaches, you see the special teams coach and the defensive coordinator and the offensive coordinator, offensive line coach and the receivers coach. It seems like they've done a great job, quarterbacks coach, and even the passing game coordinator, just having different minds in the building than they've had over the last, let's say, 5 to 8 years, even going back into the Jason Garrett days. It just seems a little bit like their philosophy has kind of changed. And one of the things that I noticed is the coaches from the offensive coordinator down, and even to Brian Schottenheimer in his opening press conference, they all have a pretty consistent message of, toughness, physicality, intelligence, just different things that you're looking for building relationships with the people first before building relationships on the football field. It's just, if it's not correct, that's okay, right? If the Cowboys end up being horrible next year and they end up going 6-11 or 5-12, that's fine. If this thing with Schottenheimer never works out and the Cowboys end up sucking for 2 or 3 years or 1 year, let's say it's so bad next year that he gets fired after his first year, it's just nice to see the Cowboys trying something different and not doing what they've done traditionally. So if you look over the last few coaches, you had Bill Parcells, who was a very well-known retread coach, but he was considered one of the greatest coaches of all time. And then after that, you have Wade Phillips, right? He was a guy that was considered a very good coach that couldn't get his teams over the hump between the Music City Miracle or the defeat to the Giants in the divisional round, the famous Jason Witten and Tony Romo. They go to Cabo the week before the game. He's hanging out with Jessica Simpson, and people are just all up in arms about it. And then after that, you had a former Cowboy player, backup quarterback, Jason Garrett, who was the wonder boy in waiting and became the head coach and was there for pretty much, from 2010 to 2019. So he got quite a bit of time to try to take the team to the level that the Joneses wanted it to be. So you had some stability there. And then Mike McCarthy and stuff like that. So Mike McCarthy was another coach that had won the Super Bowl before. And even though he didn't have familiar with the Joneses, he had that familiarity as far as, hey, man, I've been a head coach before. I've won a championship before. Just kind of keeping with that same comfort zone that the Joneses want. So Brian Schottenheimer kind of seemed like he was along the same lines, right? He was in the building for 3 years. The Joneses had some familiarity with him, but then when you see him put his staff together, the staff is more people that are going to challenge ideas, right? People that are going to have different ideas than the Cowboys have had before. People who are going to want to do different things than the Cowboys have wanted to do before. People who are challenging the status quo and challenging the normal idea of how the Cowboys normally built their team, what they were about, what they were looking for. So, not saying that it's all going to be awesome. It could suck, but at least it's different. So that adds some intrigue and that adds some interest from my perspective into the season. And hearing them all talk about it and hearing them all have a very consistent message and being all on the same page as far as the vision and kind of what they want in this football team kind of gives me also another reason for excitement. So we'll see what happens. Combine is coming up next week. When the Combine comes up, you guys are going to get so many episodes from me. You're definitely going to get an episode every day during the Combine because I'm going to be watching and I'm going to be here reporting. But you're also probably going to get multiple episodes a day, maybe on different position groups. Because once these Combine workouts start, we're going to get a little bit more movement on our draft boards. I don't know if you guys are familiar, with the time before, but I'm sure you are. You're here listening. So you know that a player like Dontari Poe wasn't even known, and then all of a sudden shot up the draft boards and ended up being a first-round pick by the Kansas City Chiefs and ended up having a really good career. So there's always going to be players like that who are, Jahmyr Gibbs, if we're looking at a Bijan Robinson before the draft was even there, everybody was looking at him as being a very high pick, being a very talented back. But Jahmyr Gibbs, man, after he ran at the Combine, he shot up draft boards immediately. So I'm really excited to see who's going to be this year's Jahmyr Gibbs, who's going to be, this year's Dontari Poe. Somebody who just comes out of nowhere and shoots up the draft boards and gets us all excited about that person possibly being a pick for the Dallas Cowboys. I remember the Cowboys trading back when they had the prime time to draft Micah Parsons, they trade back so that the Bears can get Justin Fields. They pick up an extra pick in that draft along the way, and then they still draft Micah Parsons. And being that they traded out of that pick and still got him, and other teams passed on him, and then you see the type of player Michael Parsons is now, it's just like that was the 12th pick. That was exactly the pick that the Cowboys have in this year's draft. So, you know what I'm saying? Don't sleep on it, man. We have a chance to add, if we added Micah Parsons at 12, if we added CeeDee Lamb at like 18, if we added Trayvon Diggs in the second round, we have a chance to add a generational talent at 12. It just means the Cowboys have to be more right than anybody else. And you know what I'm saying? You guys are tuning in. You'll be here to see what I think and, see me break down players and hopefully some of the players that we talk about leading up to this draft process. Maybe one of them, two of them, five of them end up with the Dallas Cowboys. But that's all I got for you guys for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can follow me on Twitter at JMillerIYL. That's JMiller if you like. You can hit me up at knockersonthebottom at gmail.com. Again, knockersonthebottom at gmail.com. You can also hit me up at knockersonthebottom at outlook.com. You can leave comments below. Any questions that you have, anything that you want me to cover specifically, I'll take it here. I'll take it via email, take it via Twitter, throw it into a mailbag, make it a formal segment. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, I love you guys. I'm your host, J Mill if you like. Until next time, this has been Knockers on the Bottom. Peace.